Welcome, everybody, back to the NASCAR Vernors Cup Series. We have rumors that every one of these drivers in this field, if they continue being stupidly uncooperative like they have been, will all be permanently barred from ever competing in NASCAR races ever again. Which at this point I kind of want to see. Maybe we can get a completely third series. I don't know. Because Melling series, they cooperated. This series, not so much. I don't understand why. So this is possibly our final attempt at getting in the TVA 500 here at Bristol. And I've gone through so much legwork just to get this race presentable. Holy Lord. It has been emotionally draining if you can't tell. You know, I'd ordinarily be happy about Brendan Gaughan and David Dayton sharing a front row, or Hut Strickland and Taron Edgerton being in the row behind them, but I'm emotionally drained. I'm not at all happy about Ian Anderson and Kathy Bates being in the third row, or Billy Mays and Richard Simmons being in the fourth row. And I especially do not appreciate the fact that Al Roker is in the fifth row along with Grover Cleveland. Tom Hanks and John Cena, yeah, they happen to be in this race too. And yeah, they exist. Row 6. Row 7, Morgan Freeman and Woody Harrelson. Row 8, Hank Hill and Jerry Springer. Did I mention Al Roker won this race 2 years ago? Well, you're probably going to hear me say that a half dozen times. I've already said it a half dozen times today, and I'm getting sick and tired of saying it. Just like I'm getting sick and tired of saying that Crow T Robot is starting next to Alfred Hitchcock, and that Carl Edwards is starting next to one of 2 points leaders, Geddy Lee. And, of course, somebody has to have brake problems. And it happened to be Tom Jones in the 5, who pits on the front stretch, who's starting next to Iggy Koopa, who pits on the back stretch. Now, Marco Polo and Rick Scott, they're next to each other. And Woody Woodpecker and Stephen George, Bela Fleck, Count Dracula, James Bond, Brian Wilson, and Blaze Alexander, Casper the Friendly Ghost, Jeff Lynne, Denzel Washington, Peter Perfect, Walter White, Joe Biden, Al Capone, Snoop Dogg, Telly Savalas, last week's winner Harrison Ford, and Bob Ross. And not qualifying, Peter Onjak, Kamikaze Games, Tib Foster, Brian Gordon, Donald Fagen, Burt Reynolds, and Chick Corea. Now, can we get this race underway? I don't think there's anything else I have to say. Good. We're finally going to hear the most famous words in motorsports, or I will, for the umpteenth time today.
Drivers, start your engines!
Having finally won an NR race in a certain other series, you think I'd be overjoyed, but I don't know. There's something completely and utterly emotionally draining about recording a race at Bristol. That I can understand why people keep removing it from schedules, even though I run great in every single NR series here. And I don't blame them. So it's hard to find a good Bristol with 2 pit roads. Yep, look at this. Look, this is the sort of thing. I raised pit road speed limit to avoid this exact thing from happening, and guess what happens? This exact thing. At least it's farther in the back. It was ultralight galaxy braining Jeff Lynne, but in a test race, it might as well just be called the Galaxy Brain 500 at this point, for obvious reasons. I had to raise pacing speed 5 miles an hour above what I wanted, but we're finally green. And David Dayton doesn't have a stupidly... Oh! Contact. I really don't want to wreck on the first lap. Guys, please, please. Please get clear. So David Dayton is stupidly fast today. Despite being a rookie. I suppose that's not the end of the world. It's like a Derek Bristol thing. Okay, and Brendan Gaughan just ran a faster lap. So we're in business! Oh, we made it to the third lap of a race without me pulling out all 32 teeth. Actually, no, I'm down to 28 teeth at this point because I lost my 4 wisdom teeth. I had those pulled. It took me getting to the 7-minute mark, but I'm finally kind of starting to enjoy this. 4 laps down, yeah. Brendan Gaughan has now marked himself as the closest thing to an early competitor. Oh my goodness, Kathy Bates ran a sub 15.5. It's flying. Oh, something happened to Rick Scott. Oh, so coming off the corner, he spins off of Casper the Friendly Ghost. Interesting choice by series officials not to throw the yellow flag, although Rick Scott now coming into the pits for routine service, I would assume. Taron Edgerton has faded. The 5th is now Ian Anderson. Joins the battle for 2nd position. Hut Strickland, right where he left off last weekend, running in 3rd. Trying to go for 2nd. I'm Brendan Gaughan. Strickland, of course, closing in on Harrison Ford before lap traffic. I don't remember who the lap traffic was, but the lap traffic utterly shafted him. Oh, look at this. He's already to the back of the field. Oh my goodness, a 15.2. And Gaughan just went faster. Folks, we got a race on our hands as Ian Anderson has made his way to 3rd. Around Hut Strickland. Oh no, that was tire tracks from earlier. David Dayton, your early leader here at Bristol. Oh, problems for Rick Scott, who had just gone down pit road and now a tire problem. He was far enough off the racing line. Now he's getting towed back to his stall of pitness. Is it? Yes, he's getting towed back to his pit stall. Completely out of contention for the win at this point. But does it really matter? Not really. I mean, it matters that he's had terrible luck and will probably fall out of the top 30 in points because... Oh. Never mind me, I'm just looking at something else. Wondering if that's like a hairline fracture in the thing from dropping it so many... I don't know. What I'm trying to say is 5 cars under a blanket for the lead now because we have caught lap traffic. I don't see any really teammates to any of these guys, though. The only one maybe the 66? No. The 1 was back here. The closest thing is probably... Yeah, we don't have... The 1. Yeah, the 1. David Dayton trying to get underneath Harrison Ford. Oh. Slight bit of damage to the 66. Tire vibration. Might be why he just lost the spot. Brendan Gaughan in the second. Under fire from Ian Anderson. Fourth place is Hot Strickland, who has never won despite years and years and years and years and years trying. Yeah, I'm kind of annoyed he still hasn't won either. Rick Scott holding it down in not 9th place, but 42nd. Oh, David Dayton washed up the track a little bit there. It is allowing Brendan Gaughan to close in car number 62. Anyway, we're just letting you crank it up for a lap or two. That was why we had the radio silence. You see, David Dayton is able to clear the lap car of Harrison Ford, who's now in 40th. Oh, dear Lord. What has happened? Did he pit? He pitted. I don't know why he pitted. Unless there is one thing I can think of. He's trying to play strategy, and this is hitting at the earliest available time. That's only going to work one way. That is if he does not. If it stays green, then he might be in a good spot. I don't know if he can even make it on fuel, though, so it's probably... I don't even know why he pitted. Yeah. Slicing and dicing his way through lap traffic is the 15 of David Dayton, who just seems unstoppable. Ian Anderson now in the second. Hut Strickland back up the third as Brendan Gaughan is challenged for fourth by Taron Edgerton. Once again, your typical no, not 5 manufacturers, only big 3 plus, I guess Pontiac is, I guess there's 4 big manufacturers in the top 10. I think the highest Toyota is Bela Fleck in 22nd, and the lone Renault is in 25th. Now it's a 2-car lap buffer, and the defending last week's winner and the defending series champion is a lap down here in the early goings. We've remained clean and green. Where are your points leaders? Wow. So they're tied, so whoever scores more points today comes out with a points lead. There's Geddy Lee. Next car on track, her position. Behind them is Woody Woodpecker. Very interesting. Hut Strickland trying to get around manufacturer mate Harrison Ford, who's a lap down. He is struggling. Ian Anderson has done so and is trying to close in on Peter Perfect. Peter Perfect, who got is trying to get his lap back from David Dayton. Dayton trying to put Snoop Dogg, another lap in arrears. Oh. I wouldn't be surprised if Ian Anderson didn't mind too much if he finished second to David Dayton, considering the fact those two are teammates. Third car in the organization is running 21st, and that is the one car of Crow T Robot. Trying to get underneath the lap car of Carl Edwards, as there's your battle for the points lead, unless third place is close enough to the front and close enough to them in points that he can beat them. Otherwise, that is your battle. Nice to see Marco Polo not running in the back every week. Same with Ian Anderson not in the back. Anderson now is... Dayton's got a 2-lap car buffer, and even better. About a whole second of real estate to the next driver. And he's already built up a 2-second buffer. Oh! Lord. I don't think I've ever been jump scared. That was a jump scare. A suspension problem on the 20 car. But he can get it off the racing, far enough off the racing surface. Far enough so that NASCAR officials do not have to call for a yellow flag. Here in the TVA 500. Now, Carl Edwards, yeah, he's won at Bristol before. He's in the field. Denzel Washington, I believe, is the guy who won the night race 2 years ago. And I'm just sorry. Another crank it up. Oh, that's right. Mark Martin is the one who won last one. A lot more cars. The 20 car out. Morgan Freeman. That's going to hurt. His teammate's already a lap down. 2. Ott Strickland the third. Brendan Gaughan is faded back to 9th place. Grover Cleveland, Hank Hill, Billy Mays, and Taron Edgerton. And Kathy Bates has gotten up here. Bates working her way up to 4th. Trying to get around the Hillsboro's decaf car of Ott Strickland. Ian Anderson trying to get around Snoop Dogg. Top 35 cars all on the lead lap at the moment. Man, oh man. Peter Perfect really trying to get his lap back. He's another driver whose teammate isn't even running. His teammate didn't even qualify. And then the only things between David Dayton and his teammate Ian Anderson, who runs second. Pretty good day thus far for this organization, running 1, 2, and 21st. What is that, multi-21? Oh, go, David Dayton. Trying to get to the inside now with Telly Savalas. But it's a very tricky proposition. You see, what I've tended to notice through yesterday's race and today's race... Whoa! Cars in the wall! The now lapped cars of Denzel Washington and Telly Savalas get together, hit the wall. No caution! Anyway, what I was trying to say... Ooh, only one lap car buffer now. And Snoop Dogg is fallen behind Ian Anderson. Gosh, a caution would be really interesting. Not that I want to see one. We're already almost halfway through this race! Oh, we're hearing reports. A valve has gone down in the 25 after that accident. There we go. You just popped it in traffic. We remain green. We jump up to the leader right as he passes under the caution timing light on the backstretch, which means we are halfway. Oh! Yellow flag is out. And I'm sure... Whoa! Hut Strickland's in it! Oh! There's a huge stack up! What on earth? Oh! Carl Edwards is... Oh! What on earth? Oh! Oh, it was a lapped car. Casper the Friendly Ghost. Oh, we've seen this wreck a lot. Anyways, what I was trying to say is, before all this, we will get to that later. Oh, yeah, he just lost it. Unfortunately, for Hut, yeah, that was not good. Billy Mays is not going to be in a good spot. And the Hut tried to back it up. He's in the Alfred Hitchcock. For the Hitchcock. Oh. And just the field piles in. Bob Ross is involved. Peter Perfect into the wall. What are you guys doing? Who's the other guy he hit? Not Carl. It was the guy before Carl. We try to sort this... We try to work this whole... We try to make this whole damn thing sorted out. Oh, that was the other car that got hit. That's right. And, yeah. So you can see a mechanical failure now on Hank Hill caused by all of this. Oh, Carl Edwards, that's going to be a very tough blow for him. He was already a couple laps down. Now he's going to come to almost a complete halt just to wait for... He can't even pit yet. Because he's a lapped car. That should have some implication. Oh my God, Jeff Lynne! Just nearly took him out right then and there. So you can see everybody hitting pit road. I have no clue what anything is going on anymore. Very interesting. '94. Carl's out. Denzel Washington's out. Rick Scott's still in it. Morgan Freeman's out. Also, Jerry Springer, Tom Jones, Alfred Hitchcock, Billy Mays is out. Is that everybody? No. Peter Perfect and Bob Ross also out. We have 22 cars listed on the lead lap. Considering how many cars are now out of the race, and how a few cars might have gotten trapped a lap down because of getting turned in the accident, that sounds pretty accurate, to be honest. Anyway, now what I was saying is I kind of hope we don't see a yellow, and what I was also trying to say is earlier, this is because the lapped cars are going to line up to the inside, which is very interesting because this is an interestingly grooved racetrack. Now, in 1 and 2, like any conventional short track, you want to be on the inside. But since the reconfig in 3 and 4, you don't want to be on the inside, you want to be on the outside. Which generally in NR logic, it usually doesn't necessarily mean you don't want to be on the inside, but it's because the AI on the inside love to stack. They love to just check up for random reasons. What I'm trying to say, David Dayton, Ian Anderson, Kathy Bates, Grover Cleveland, Taron Edgerton, your top 5, along with other people. I don't see Hutz out, isn't he? Hutz Strickland is out now, sadly. Hutz Miracle Day is over. The rest of the top 10, Harrelson, gone, Lee, Cena, and Crow T Robot. The entire Bernie Ecclestone Incorporated team in the top 20. Oh, only 18 cars on the lead lap. Stephen George is really slow. Oh. I bet you some of these lapped cars could actually, like, James Bond and stuff could get around David Dayton if it wasn't for the fact they were being held up by the 85. We'll see what happens if any of them are able to get around the 85. What was I saying about James Bond? Of course, James Bond proceeds to pit for no reason. There's Ian. Oh, Ian Anderson is not a lapped car. He's on the lead lap. Ooh. Ooh. I guess I'm trying to say like an Al Capone. A Count Dracula. Joe Biden. Which Al Capone will not necessarily held up enough and will clear the 85. Thank goodness the Lord of Lording. Look at how fast of lap times some of these drivers just ripping off. Ripper! Gone in the meanwhile is back in 9th. Richard Simmons has cracked the top 10. Gone. Going for 8th on John Cena. Now, he started his move in the middle of 1 and 2, which you generally do not want to do. You want to start it usually going into 1 and 2. That way you'll have enough momentum to not be shafted in, especially in turn 3. Oh, gone. Actually got helped out by Simmons. Arrow pushing him up the track. They'll help for 3 and 4, but not if Simmons continues to try and get to his inside in 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3 lapped cars around Stephen George. Oh, look at how fast David Dayton is. He's just ripping off some of the fastest laps I've ever seen. average speed is over 100 miles an hour, which is usually the indicator of a fast race here at Bristol. We have been relatively caution-free, only the one yellow right at halfway to slow the pace. And that's, I believe, everybody chose to dive down pit road. If they didn't, they're silly. Because they could make it. Hank Hill put, actually now it'd be 2 laps down. Ooh, Telly Savalas! Jeff Lynne, that's a lead lap car. David Dayton subscribing to the school of the more cars you put a lap down, the less collateral, the more damage control you do if a yellow comes out and you have to drop spots, or the less cars that can overtake you on a restart. Dayton flying around, trying to get to the lap 18th place Jeff Lynne. He's got a 3-second buffer on teammate Ian Anderson, down to 2.5. That's what happens when you meet traffic. To the inside of the 55 goes the 15. They nearly touch a little bit at the line. He laps them, though. Ooh. 40 laps to go for David Dayton. Kathy Bates in 3rd place. Caution! Oh! Big crash! David Dayton's got a bit of damage. Rick Scott smoking. Al Roker's involved. Oh, they pile in. John Cena. Hank Hill aggressive. Kathy Bates was in 3rd place. Rick Scott aggressively blocking Richard Simmons. I wouldn't be surprised if he just dumps him. Now let's see what caused this, but I gotta... There's Jeff Lynne. I think Rick Scott was at the start of all... Oh, lordy! I saw some implicating... Oh, no! That's a teammate! John Cena coming off the corner just gets together with Brian Wilson, spins. Oh, a little bit of damage to Stephen George. And pow! He's just T-boned by Marco Polo. Now you can see everybody trying to come in and avoid that. Al Roker back into Rick Scott. Look at Rick Scott up and over at Bristol. Over 2, 3 times onto the wall, grinding the wall and into the race leader. Oh, a horrific accident for the Raven West driver who has just been stricken with so much bad luck this year. Oh, look at Kathy Bates just popped Iggy Koopa from behind. What on earth? Well, this might be the point in the race. We're gonna wanna. John Cena was a good driver. Well, he is a good driver. We're gonna go onto the roof cam of John Cena. One of the several drivers we have roof cams of. You can see. And here we go, and blammo! Oh, and he got hit. Oh, man, you can see that. You gotta be worried, Rick's... Oh, man, and look at just all this mess. And you just gotta stack up. He did a good job shooting the middle. Too bad he's smoking. Now, the one I think everybody wants to see, though, is Rick Scott. So here we go. We're on board. Riding into turn 1. You can see he's trying to shoot the gap. Almost had it. Up and over goes the O2. A scary accident. Hit from behind once more for good measure. We see this from the other camera angle. Oh, pops over, rolling at 100 mph. It looks really scary from that one angle when it starts the roll. That just looks like a horror show crash. Oh, I got a feeling they're going to be showing this one on highlight reels for a long time. Was that 3 rolls? Because that was 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Because there's the 1.5, 2, 1, 2, 1.5, 3. From the backstretch grandstands. Oh, a terrible, nasty tumble in the 3 as he grinds the wall. And a massive slam there. I wonder how few cars, I should say, are going to be on the lead lap after this. Iggy Koopa. There's Rick Scott, assumingly, to teleport out of existence. What? What? Implications. I think Ian Anderson. Oh yeah, he got caught up and Ian Anderson slipped by and took the race lead. Wow. Now you can see all those cars. Rick Scott. Bob Ross is out. Hank Hill out. Also out of the race. Marco Polo. John Cena is out. Al Roker, Jeff Lynne, 26 cars. No, because Kathy Bates is out. 25 cars running. 12 cars remain on the lead lap. Oh, a relatively clean start to this race. And yet, despite only 2 cautions, it has been, you can say, a wreck fest. Look at all these damaged race cars. Iggy Koopa's car all smashed in. Well, we can go through the entire. Your lead lap cars. Ian Anderson leads. Then David Dayton. Gotta go find Grover Cleveland in 3rd. Woody Harrelson 4th. Taron Egerton 5th. Geddy Lee in 6th. Richard Simmons 7th. Brendan Gaughan 8th. Woody Woodpecker 9th. Tom Hanks 10th. Crow T Robot 11th. And 12th is Bela Fleck. Now, 13th. Your car's only 1 lap down. In order will be Al Capone, Joe Biden, Blaze Alexander, Count Dracula, Walter White, Brian Wilson, Snoop Dogg, Stephen George, Harrison Ford, who started last, has made it up through half the field, despite being a lap down, and Casper the Friendly Ghost. As we will go back to green with 34 laps to go, I believe. Also, still running, although 2 laps down, will be Telly Savalas, James Bond, and Iggy Koopa. That's not often that you see that. More, I suppose, back in the 43 car fields. Coming to the initial green, and I suppose after the double file rule is in effect for a little while. Anyway, point is, 12 cars on the lead lap. It's a race of attrition. Only 13 other cars still running. Pace car on pit road. Green flag is out. We're back racing in the TVA 500. Oh, contact! going for the race lead. There's a spin. David Dayton in the wall. No caution. He's going to fall to 10th at the moment. Oh, Lord. Look at all the lap traffic, though. It's a wad. An entire wad. Grover Cleveland in the second. Oh, David Dayton. Can we get a replay of that? You can see David Dayton, well, after he got hit, now Dayton both got hit, and he just lost grip, and he got really lucky that he didn't come back down and hit anybody. Meanwhile, Ian Anderson trying to put Al Capone back a lap in arrears. Capone hoping for a quick yellow, which did not happen quite as much as he wanted it. Oh, is Ian Anderson going to complete? Yes, he does. That's not what Al Capone wanted to see. With now 29 laps to go. David Dayton has gotten around. Now it would be Tom Hanks for 10th. He's in the 9th. Now working on Brendan Gaughan for 8th. These two started on the front row, and now they're battling for 8th after some problems. Gaughan just got put back on pit stops, and Dayton nearly got taken out of the event. Battle for 5th between Taron Edgerton, Richard Simmons, and Geddy Lee, as Woody Woodpecker would be retaining the points lead for sure. Probably taking it outright, I would say. It's running up in the 4th spot. 3rd is Woody Harrelson. 2nd is Grover Cleveland. 2, 3, 4 lapped cars separate him from Ian Anderson, however. Ian Anderson, 25 laps between him and victory in the TVA 500. A 4-second advantage. And continuing to grow. Now 24 laps down. Oh, interesting. Grover Cleveland actually ran a faster lap despite not even getting by any lap traffic. And Ian Anderson wasn't in any either. We're still averaging 100 mile an hour. Al Capone just ran his fastest lap of the race, and it was slower than Ian Anderson's lap as he goes around Iggy Koopa. Badly damaged race car, but that's still out there logging laps. Now 3 laps down in 25th spot, but trying to at least finish the race out. A 5-lap car buffer now that Ian Anderson has, and about 6 seconds with only 20 laps remaining here in the TVA 500. Anderson had a huge slump after a big win in the David Pearson 500 last year. Finished 42nd in points. Is this type of momentum builder that everybody loves to see, as he's now around Stephen George, sitting behind his teammate David Dayton for most of the afternoon? But now 6th car lap buffer. Dayton has gotten around Brendan Gaughan, and so has Tom Hanks gotten around him. Oh, David Dayton just nearly took out Crow. Oh, Hanks running wide. Look at that. And they are still almost about to go a lap down. 15 laps to go for Ian Anderson, who is just sailing away with this race. A 6 almost 7 seconds. Probably at the line it will be. Yes. Complete. 2, 3, 4. Oh, he did get around the lap car of Viggy Koopa. That's all. He's still stuck behind Count Dracula. Despite clearly being a faster car. Yeah, the lap times don't show much, but when you're consistently just slightly faster, chances are it means you're being... Caution is out! Oh, interesting. And it's Woody Woodpecker, the points leader's involved. Smoke spewing from the back of the 21. Did you just blow an engine or what? No, he spun on Snoop Dogg. Oh, and he just got a little bit of a love tap from Richard Simmons. That was enough to bring out the yellow here. That's another car off the lead lap. 11 cars. Oh, man, oh, man. Oh, Lord. So really, top 10 should... Oh, my God. He got it around. Somebody else pitted. Somebody pitted, and that was Richard Simmons. The implications, race. Dude always lined up. He's stupidly having 3 cars being trapped a lap down. Leaders trying to slowly get by. Oh, dude, it's going to be a single file dash. Ian Anderson has got this race in the bag, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lap car buffer. And, of course, Stephen George, who's slow as molasses, is one of them. Unless an accident was going to happen that takes out the 8, I don't see him losing this race. Grover Cleveland. What is this? Only like his 3rd race made all year or something? But when he makes the races, he usually does really well. He got like... I don't remember if he started at Martinsville last week, but before Martinsville, he had made 2 starts, finishing in the top 5 in both of those starts, coming a lap away from victory at Texas World, and it looks like he's going to do it again. He's been hurt out by being a go or go home car for the entire season, which has been hard for him because when he does make races, he's been wicked fast. He just needs to get into the races. We're going to go green with what? 7 to go? We might have the 7-lap dash to decide this. Not going to be much of a 7-lap dash, but that's got to be depressing, having built up a 7-second lead. See it all be erased. Now, only 10 cars on the lead lap. Ian Anderson. Probably going to win. The race is going to be for 2nd. Actually, no, because Grover Cleveland's got another buffer of like 3 cars. Woody Harrelson's got a buffer of 4 cars. He's in 3rd. And Geddy Lee, Taron Edgerton, David Dayton, Tom Hanks, Brendan Gaughan, Bela Fleck, and Crow T. Robot. So the battle's going to be like for 4th. Pace car on pit road, 7 laps to go. Ian Anderson trying to hold on to win the TVA 500. Green flag back in the air for what is quite possibly the last time all day. Lap cars battling it out. You can see a few different pods forming. Grover Cleveland trying to get by. And is instead just going to be tripped up more and more by lappers. Caution came out now. I think the race went under yellow. Ian Anderson pretty just much. He makes it 5 to go. If caution comes out, the race will end under yellow. So unless he's the cause of it. Only 5 laps to go. 6 cars lap buffer. Now 4 to go. And a lead of probably over 3 seconds at the moment. No, not quite 3 seconds. Ian Anderson set to win this race. Three to go. The most interesting battle on the track is for 4th place. Several cars under a blanket. Taron Edgerton up here. Tom Hanks. Geddy Lee. As only 24 cars will finish. White flag is out now for Ian Anderson. Taron Edgerton seems to be running away with 4th place at the front. You see, checkered flag is out. Ian Anderson, your race winner. Yes, Edgerton will hold on. Brendan Gaughan, top 10 run. The entirety. Only 10 cars finished on the lead lap, but all of... Oh! Crash at the end of the race. David Dayton just got dumped on the cooldown lap by Casper the Friendly Ghost. I can't imagine your pole sitter is very happy at all about that turn of events. There's your official standings. Glad we actually got that out of the way. Once that race got going, that race got good. Took us a while, but that was actually a decent race. A little bit on the slow side because it was under 100 miles an hour. It barely failed the litmus test. Ian Anderson, your race winner, Grover Cleveland, comes up 4.5 seconds shy. It's a barn burner. Oh my God, look at the casualty list. 18 cars failed to finish this race. 2 by tire issue, 1 ignition, 1 gearbox, and 1 memorable flip for Rick Scott, who officially is out with a tire issue. You surprised. A heartache for the 90. Hut Strickland. Ian Anderson did indeed show some muscle, proving what we all knew, and that the flute is a heavy metal instrument. Oh. Nope, that's the wrong thing. We're just opening up the Exports Imports tab, scrolling down towards the bottom, and getting your standings through 8 races. California, Sonoma, Texas World, Homestead, Miami, Martinsville. Here, your point standings. Points leader, Geddy Lee. Brendan Gaughan up to 2nd in points. Ian Anderson, just Hut Strickland's fall continues. No, I shouldn't say continues. That would imply he fell last week. Ian Anderson missed the... That might have been the first race of the year, actually, he missed. Yeah. Did he? No. He might have missed... It's either Texas World, or can we find him on here? There! He missed Sonoma. And he is 16th. Oh, he wouldn't be the points leader anyway. Only his second top 10 of the year. First top 5. That's probably his first laps led all year as well. No, he led 3 laps prior to the day. Probably, if we're going to be honest, that was probably... No, only one of which was at Daytona. I bet you the other ones were California. No. Texas World. No. Homestead. I should have figured with all the lead changes that race had. Yep. So, now we go to your top 35. Oh, Morgan Freeman's hopes take... Nobody falls out. Nobody climbs in. Once again. Rick Scott. It was Hank Hill versus Count Dracula last time. Ooh, you can see there's the gap. Carl. Ooh. Not what he needed. He could have gotten up at least to 42nd. He's still 45th. Still the worst of all the full-time drivers, but it's not by a whole laughable amount, as Donald Fagen has now missed the last 2 races. No, he's not missed the last 2. I think he's missed 2 of the last 3. Yes. So, Kaminari finally falling outside the top 42. Yeah, but he might climb back in, because guess what? His next race that he's got scheduled is next weekend, and he probably not next weekend, but next race. Probably wondering where on earth that race is. How long have we even been going? 57 minutes. Well, next week is an off week, and I can, now that this race is in, I can indeed confirm, yes, it will be an off week. Truck Series goes to Hickory, but the week after that, all 3 races are on. And it's going to be one of the more prestigious ones on the calendar. It's going to be the WEC 500, the second race in the Winston Million. Actually, it's the Vernors Million, but it'll be at Talladega. Taron Edgerton making his first start of the season. A fantastic run for him. The best single... That's even better than A.J. Jones's one race. Max Dave Marcus out of the top 50. Very interesting. 18 cars. How many cars averaging over 100 points, which is the litmus test of at least a decent season? 18, 19, 20, or at least per start. 21, 22, okay. 23, 24. So we're having... Oh, it's good. Join us next weekend. We should have some exciting racing. You can see the champion will be a quarter of the way at the end of the weekend through Melling and Cup, which will be an exciting prospect. This is a fun time of the season when pretty much the entire field is still alive for a championship. Although some drivers are more behind the 8 ball than others. It took us forever to get going, but when we got going, we didn't want to stop. For everybody at the WesternCaves Sports Network, I actually enjoyed that race, thank goodness. Announcer WesternCaves. We'll see you next time at the Hickory Motor Speedway or the Talladega Super Speedway, whichever one you come to join out, or if you just join us for a random race farther down the line. Have a good evening. And until next time.